Since this country was founded, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. They gave up everything for our country, for us, and all we can do is remember.
Putting your life on the line for our country and for those who have fallen, as Abraham Lincoln once wrote, they have given the full measure of devotion. Not every veteran has been placed in harm's way, but each has devoted their lives to the care and keeping of our freedoms. And whether their service ribbons and medals have faded with the passing years, or they are newly discharged from service, they are veterans. They deserve our admiration and respect. They quietly carry their burdens of the conflicts they faced on their shoulders and within their hearts, so we don't have to. Many of these brave men and women have completed their earthly campaigns, and you'll find their names etched in memorials across our country and state. The gratitude we have for their service and sacrifice is etched even deeper. The University of Utah recognizes the selfless service of our state's veterans, and especially the men and women nominated for this year's Veterans Day commemoration ceremony. Although we aren't able to honor them in person this year, their stories must be shared.
Ralph A. Milton, U.S. Marine Corps, Korea, Vietnam. Milton earned 2 Silver Stars for his determined initiative, fortitude, and cool courage in the face of grave peril. He recounts, "We stayed out on the frozen waters of the Chosin Reservoir for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of December. We froze, but we didn't die. On the 9th, we got into a hell of a fight with thousands of Chinese, with just as many in front as behind. They called it a retreat. We just fought in a different direction. We made it through, but a lot didn't."
Gail S. Halverson, Army Air Corps, U.S. Air Force, World War II. Halverson, a recipient of the Congressional Gold Medal, was nicknamed Uncle Wiggly Wings by the children he dropped more than 20 tons of candy to. He soon became known as the Berlin Candy Bomber. He recalled, "I reached into my pocket and I pulled out all I had, 2 sticks of gum. I broke them in half and I told them to share. I promised them I would return the next day to drop a load of chocolate bars in the sky, and told the children I would wiggle my wings so they knew which pilot had the goods."
Christine M. Burkle, U.S. Air Force, Utah Air National Guard, Iraq, Afghanistan. Burkle, a decorated KC-135 navigator, became the first female promoted to the rank of Brigadier General in the history of the Utah National Guard. She says, "I feel so lucky to have been able to serve our country with the best men and women I've ever known, and truly miss that special connection you have while actively serving. But it's also nice to have more time with my family. In retirement, I've come to cherish the memories from my years in the service and have so much respect and love for those who are serving today."
Frederick M. Burgold, U.S. Air Force, Vietnam. Burgold received many decorations, including 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses as an HH-43F Husky helicopter pilot. He said, "The average person does not understand how horrible war really is. Part of the reality in Vietnam was using a hose to wash the blood out of the helicopter after many recovery missions. The heroism and dedication of those serving in all our armed forces is truly amazing and at times beyond comprehension. But in the end, war is blood and death."
Kenneth J. Brown, U.S. Marine Corps, World War II. Brown was a chaplain's assistant and machine gunner during the invasion of Iwo Jima and the occupation of Japan. Reflecting on the battle for 8 square miles, where 6,800 Marines died, he says, "I learned that freedom is not free. We paid an awful price to keep that flag flying on Iwo Jima and elsewhere throughout the world. People think that we won that war easily. We didn't. we could have easily lost it.
Gerald L. Jensen, U.S. Army, Vietnam. Jensen started his military career enlisting in the Utah National Guard and ending it as commander of Fort Douglas, with many leadership and special operations assignments along the way. He said, "The most meaningful experiences were those in command or leadership assignments where one could directly influence the outcome, be it at the lowest team level, as a branch chief in the Pentagon, or as an installation commander. Regardless, my most fulfilling experiences were always related to soldiers at the tip of the spear."
Joseph Nagengast, U.S. Air Force. Iraq, Afghanistan, Latin America. Nagengast enlisted in the Air Force in 2000 and led a successful 18-year career as an airborne cryptologic linguist, electronic warfare operator, and host nation liaison. Among his achievements was being part of a counter-drug mission that led to the apprehension of $300 million worth of cocaine and the capture of several key players in a global narco-terrorist organization. The Colombian government awarded him the unique honor of the Colombian Distinguished Service Air Defense and Air Navigation Medal.
Nell S. Bright, Women Air Force Service Pilot, World War II. Bright gained an early love of flight and was one of only about 1,000 WASP pilots who earned their wings. She remembers, "We had to learn how to fly the Army way. It was a tough program. Flying as part of a tow target squadron wasn't a glamorous job," she said. "If you didn't know what you were doing, you were putting your life on the line."
Michelle Schneeweiss, U.S. Army, Vietnam. Schneeweiss began her decorated military career in Saigon and finished at Fort Hood. She served in many hospitals along the way, cultivating a lifelong passion for caring for the health of others. She recounts, "Losing my first soldier was hard not to take to heart. You're always thinking, could I have done more?"
Mark L. Hayrand, U.S. Army, World War II. Hayrand had a front row seat to the planning of 4 D-Days and the invasions of North Africa, Sicily, Naples, and southern France. Typing 120 words per minute and knowing shorthand qualified him for a job taking dictation for General Patton in the 7th Army Division. Before joining the Army, he remembers thinking, "Boy, something's got to be done and it's going to be up to us to do it," when he heard about Pearl Harbor.
James W. Dooley, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force, Vietnam. Dooley began his decorated military career as a Marine all-weather A-6 intruder bombardier navigator, conducting aerial combat missions in South Vietnam, Laos, and North Vietnam, and later as an Air Force aerospace physiologist. He made significant contributions to high-altitude and high-G aircrew flight operations, including the development of the High-G Acceleration Protective Ensemble for F-22 and F-35 aircrews. Despite his long Air Force career, he remains first and foremost a Rose Garden Marine.
Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.